Hello, Lynn. I just wanted to share with you our decision model here and just get your thoughts on if this version, which is just on method selection, will be appropriate for our needs. And hopefully I can do this really quickly so you can look at it quickly and make any recommendations as we go. So to begin with, I'll just go to View Path here. The students will actually read a problem up here, and then after they've read it, they'll proceed. They have to decide if it's a hypothesis test procedure or confidence interval procedure. And so from here, then they've got to examine the distribution of one variable, see if the study or the problem is examining the distribution of one variable or relationship between two variables. If it's examining distribution of a variable, then we ask if that variable is categorical or quantitative. If it's categorical, then they go to the method selection, which is the end point in this decision model. And in this case, this would be a one sample Z procedure for proportions. Then if they go quantitative, then they would have to choose, they would choose a one sample T procedure. If we'll come back here, if we're examining relationship between two variables, if the response variable is categorical and the explanatory variable is categorical, then we ask this question to distinguish between chi-square test for independence and the two-sample Z test for proportions. If there are no more than two levels in either of the categorical variables, so it's a 2 by 2, then they would choose a two-sample Z procedure. If there are at least three levels in one of the categorical variables, then in that case they would choose a chi-square test for independence. Now down here on the quantitative, if it's categorical and quantitative, as it says in the slides, you'd run a logistical regression, which isn't covered in this course. Then on the quantitative side, so now we have this question, is a response variable categorical quantitative? So if the response variable is quantitative, which in most cases it is, then we would be able to select our procedure from there. In fact, quantitative would lead to a regression here. So now let's go when the response variable is quantitative but the explanatory variable is categorical. Most of them are going to lie here. How many levels does the explanatory variable have? If it has two levels, then we ask if the measurements for each level are related to each other. As you know, that'll bring us to match pairs. And if not, in this case, yes, the measurement for each level are independent, okay, then that would lead to a two-sample T procedure for means. Then, if the measurements are not related to each other, then that would lead, they're saying they are related to each other. We may have to work on that wording. Then we go to a matched pair T, and then they can decide what type of matched pairs. Are we talking about individual pre and post measurements, one individual two treatments, or two matched individuals? And then let's say we go down the three-level route, and so that would take us to an ANOVA. I believe that's the entire model, so we'll just see the entire model here. But this basically is our simplified version that I think will be very helpful and powerful for the students in testing and reviewing their ability to select the appropriate method based on the wording of